view it here, to me, I view it like it's almost like an emergency intervention. Like, that's literally how I view it. Like, you guys view it like you're here taking a program, here to learn something. I view it like a fucking emergency intervention. Because a lot of these areas, if you don't have a good grasp of them, cause major, major problems in your life. And conversely, when you have a grasp of them, are going to help you huge. So the advantages that I have, due to my understanding of these particular areas, are tremendous. I mean, I live in almost a completely different reality than the vast majority of people. And yet the skills I'm going to show you are very learnable. They're very, very learnable. And they're not like, the gap between when you have this stuff versus when you don't is massive. And yet it just takes a couple hours per day to learn this stuff. And I'm going to lay it out to you in a way that is learnable. Like, for example, would it surprise you to realize that you could be public speaking as well as anybody on my team within a couple days? Does that surprise you? Does that seem weird to think about? Like, these polished speakers who you've seen up speaking for years that are able to do 6 figures in sales, 7 figures in sales, that have crowds regaling them. Does it surprise you to think that you could be doing the same kind of thing? You can. I can show you how to do it. I'll show you exactly what I've been teaching them for many years. Like, does anybody ever pause? Like, I always find it funny that people don't pause to ask these elusive, obvious questions. Like, let me give you an example. You guys know our instructor, Luke? Yeah. Well, you know what his dating life looks like, right? You know he weighs like 300-400 pounds, right? And yet very few people actually talk about that as much as they should. Like, why is nobody talking about a 300 to 400 pound man dating some of the most attractive people in the world? Why aren't they talking about this forever? Like, just, that's like all they talk about 24 hours a day. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, when you really pause and think about it. But what's funny is he'll make it look so normal that you don't really think about it. I mean, Neil Strauss, the author of the book The Game, I would even go as far as to say the same thing. Like, Neil Strauss is a 5'5" little bald guy with a high-pitched voice, also very successful in dating. Why? But you're just like, well, yeah, but he's the author of The Game. He's the author. He's on some different level. Why aren't we talking about this more? Like, why aren't we really digging in and talking about these like freak anomaly situations that completely blow the typical norm, right? But we don't talk about it. Likewise, why does nobody talk about the fact that every speaker that comes into my organization becomes this crushing public speaker within short order and develops some huge brand? Why is nobody talking about this? Like, what's going on behind the scenes that we're able to replicate this kind of result? Why is it that I can take just about anybody, and if they're just around me for a little bit, I can teach them the same social skills that I'm using for their dating life or whatever else? That's a bit weird when you think about it. It's a weird thing, and yet it's so in your face. It's just so taken for granted that your mind will go into this kind of like celebrity fallacy where you think, oh, well, Luke has a YouTube channel. That's why he's 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and has that dating life, because he's on the YouTube. And yet you don't realize Luke is exactly like you. Luke is a human being like you. The things he's doing is no different than what you'd be doing. There's no difference. So why aren't we talking about this more, right? Me as a public speaker, why is it that I'm able to do what I do? Like, why is nobody saying over and over, wait a minute, so this guy just did a 7-hour improvised event yesterday with nothing prepared, and it was probably harder hitting than most people's prepared content? Why is it that he's able to do that? These are weird questions. Why aren't they saying, how did somebody with light level autism learn to become one of the best at approaching of all time? How did that happen? Right? But it's like, well, he's on the YouTube. Of course, he's on the YouTube. Yes, I'm on the YouTube, okay? Like, the only difference with me and you is that I just do, like, think about your life, then just think about if you just took a camera and just let it record while you're doing your life, and then you just press post. That's it. That's all that me being on the YouTube means. So we need to be looking deeper at some of these elusive, obvious questions of why it is that we're able to get these results, and realize that anything that I'm doing or that other instructors are doing, you can do. You've got to get past that mental block that because someone's on the YouTube, that you're not going to be on that level. You should be looking at anything that I'm doing, and you should be assuming that you can do this. So that's the very first lesson I have to teach you. What one man can do, okay, what one person could do, another person could do. That's the first thing that you have to realize. What one person could do, another person could do. Get out of any mental blocks that you have and get out of any limitations that you have, okay? Like we had you up here yesterday. I don't look at you as any different than me. My expectations for you are the same as my expectations for myself. I don't view it as any different. We're related to each other because we're both human beings. There's no difference. There's nothing different going on that if we don't just put in the right understandings and do the right processes, that you can't have the same result. I have no sympathy on you. I don't think of you as, oh, you're the shy guy who struggles, so even if you just make a bit of progress, that's pretty good. I don't have that view of you. I have no sympathy on you. I'm not going to pander to you. I don't think that you need to be treated any differently. I think that you can get the exact same results. 100% is what I think, okay? Because I've taught people just like yourself and seen them 10 years later what they're capable of. I know what you're capable of, okay? So the big question, though, is you've got to determine if you want it or not. You've got to determine if you really want this, okay? So let me talk about some of the benefits you're going to get out of this, and then we're going to launch into some exercises. The first thing to understand is I want to show you how to have awareness of your own potential socially. What that means is that you probably don't understand currently how to be a leader. You probably don't fully understand. You probably don't understand currently how to move people. You don't understand how to use your communication to create, whether it's attraction, friendship, networking possibilities, getting hired, all of these different aspects of social communication that are going to determine the quality of your life. You probably don't get these right now. And you've watched videos of mine and you've said, this changed my life. But guess what? How different is your life really at this point based on watching my videos? That's why I've got to get you in here to do the work. Because yes, your life would be somewhat different, but a lot of what you're going to get from watching videos is more just psychological relief. Now, here's what I mean by that. When you're struggling in an area, I know this because I went through the same process. When you're struggling in an area and then you see that somebody who's like you got better in that area, you realize that it's not your fault or that there's not some kind of like genetic deficiency. Like that was what was nice for me. I was like, oh, so I don't understand dating. But then if I did understand it, I'd be fine. So this doesn't mean I'm defective. So that made me feel a lot better, just knowing I wasn't defective. But nonetheless, when I was first learning it, it doesn't mean I could do it. So it was nice to know I wasn't defective. It was a relief to know that there was a path to getting better if I chose to walk it eventually. That was a nice conceptual relief. It made me feel better. But that being said, I still didn't have the change. Now, I could see other people getting the change. My mentor was Mystery. I could go out with Mystery and watch him socializing and watching people flocking to him. And that weekend that I did with him changed my life forever. Because when I watched a regular guy like Mystery having people flocking to him and begging him for attention, I'm like, wait a minute, so you could do that. I was determined to get the same result. But nonetheless, I still had to go do it, right? It's like if you see somebody who lost a lot of weight or got really fit, it's nice to know that you have that capacity to lose weight or to get fit, but you still need to go through the process in order to get it. So what you've seen from me on YouTube and social media platforms up till this point has been really powerful improvised concepts. These are concepts that I come up with on the spot to entertain and to what's called infotain. It's infotainment. It's basically, you could be watching television like a TV show. Instead, you choose to watch my videos, which are going to be probably 5,000 times more educational than a typical TV show, and maybe twice as educational as a good TV show. Something like that. But, depending on the show. So, half as educational as maybe a really great show. But you know my point. So basically what you have is, that's called infotainment. You've now left the world of infotainment. We're not in the world of infotainment anymore, okay? I'm very proud of what I put on social media. I think it changes lives. I've seen how it changes lives. But this is going to a completely different level right now, because this is you being committed to actually changing. If you're here, you're committed to really changing. But we've got to go through the process. Now, to do this, we're going to have to push ourselves to transform. Now, anytime that you have a transformation, the first thing to understand is it's going to take energy. It's going to take energetic exertion, okay? Whether that's the tuition that you paid to come here, but more importantly, the time that you're using to be here, and more importantly, the energy that you're going to use to be here, okay? Let me give an example. Take my public speaking. I've worked on it for years. I can get you to 70, 80% of what I do in a couple days if we work together, in my opinion. That's quick. But for me to get into the world-class level or to be in that conversation as the top speaker, that took me doing it again and 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 again. And when you see me yesterday, for example, when I did my free event, I got out of here at about 3:30 in the morning or something like that. Okay? Now, I started that event at 7 p.m. I get out at 3:30. Now, this might surprise you guys. It's not in my advantage to run an event that late. Anybody, for example, who's ever done sales from the stage knows you're supposed to run the event about 90 minutes. Why did I run it that long? Why did I make more money over the course of my career trajectory by running an event from, why do I get more money by running an 8-hour event? Even though by running an 8-hour event, you're proven to get less sales. It's proven. Okay, like my marketing team's ripping their hair out. So, yeah, they're not the only bald ones on the team. So think of it this way. Why would I make more money overall by running it longer? Can you guess?
You enjoy it?
That's for my enjoyment. That's great. What else? Why would I make more flat cash by running it longer? What do you think?
Longer-term emotional investment.
That can be pretty cool. But believe it or not, you guys probably think that I sold you yesterday. See, my business is doing well, so I don't need to sell hard. If you guys ever want to watch me clear a room, come watch me clear a room, okay? Because the reason why, by the way, to clear a room, you basically just hammer if you go to certain very famous self-development events, they're going to teach you like 5 lessons, and each of those 5 lessons is just training you to buy stuff. That's all they do. They do cheering, they train you on the 5 lessons to buy stuff over and over on repeat, and then they just clear the room out. They're not teaching deep content at all. It's just completely a sales pitch, the whole thing. Most of the most expensive self-help events on the market are literally just a pyramid scheme. Like, they sell you to the one thing, they sell you to the next thing, they sell you to the next thing, and it's just a pyramid scheme. I wouldn't say they're teaching things that are bad. Actually, I think that even what they teach in the pyramid scheme is pretty cool, but I teach real content. Like, I go very, very deep on my content. So why is it that I would make more money over the course of my career by doing 7 hours of speaking? Why is it that I make more money being here running an event, even though I could produce more revenues being in my home right now, banking it, because I'm running the operation? But why is it that I can make more money overall being here? What do you think?
Long-term loyalty.
Nope, not even that. I can make so much more money sitting at home. How much money can I spend, can I make sitting in my house? Oh my God, because it's scalable, bro. This doesn't scale. So what are some other reasons?
Turning your clients into wealthy clients who pay more later.
I think that could work, but why wouldn't I can scale that from my house. I can just create the program and have my instructor team run it to a very high level. Because I can train people on that, which is what I'm going to train you on this weekend. What else? Take a guess.
Just the feeling that you help so many people.
That's a great feeling, but let's make it about business. Let's talk money. Yep.
You're giving 100%?
Great feeling. Let's talk about money. Yep. Because this is going to relate to you.
Word of mouth marketing, because you spend like 7 hours.
What's that?
Like word of mouth marketing, because you spend 7 hours.
Oh, even with a short event, I can still blow your socks off. Yep, don't need to do it for that reason. What is it?
Thank you, economy.
Don't need to do that. I can still blow your socks off. You think someone comes to a 90-minute event that has a little pitch at the end that they're not going to still be super happy? Take a guess. Yep.
You're going to help sell a bigger product?
No, not even. I mean, I'll do sales here or there, but not even. Again, if I want to clear a room, I wouldn't have taught real content. Okay? So here's last 2 guesses.
You're in for life, you will not get bored.
Yes, long-term desire to stay in it is big. That was the first answer that's correct about money, but I'll give more. Yep.
I was going to say self-improvement and then finding a longer.
I'd say that too. Here's the answer. I do my own events because I believe that I have the capability to be the best speaker in the world. And I believe that the only way I can be the best speaker in the world is by speaking. And I believe that when you're at the top level, you get paid astronomical amounts. See, even these really high-level internet marketers, they don't compare to Anthony Robbins, right? Well, why is that? What separates Robbins from, I don't know, say like a Frank Kern or Ryan Dice, who are, or a Dan Kennedy, who are wildly superior marketers to Anthony Robbins, in my view? Why is it that Tony Robbins is at a different level?
He speaks way more often.
Because when you see Tony, you might as well be seeing Jesus alive. Okay? So Jesus reincarnated with 5% marketing tools is better than Frank Kern with 500% marketing tools. Even though Frank Kern is a guy who I think is very inspirational, and I think Ryan Deiss is inspirational. All these guys I think are very inspirational. Alex Becker is amazing. You know, a lot of these guys are amazing. Now, here's why I bring this up. I'm going to teach you exactly to the letter how I speak, how I do social media, how I do all the things that I do. But at the end of the day, you've got to put it into practice. When you guys see me awake until 3 in the morning, when you guys see me teaching something here that doesn't scale, you might think, oh, he's doing this for business. This isn't business, okay? This is art. And with that art, you can then scale it. See, when I'm 50, I can dial back what I'm doing or go hire other people to serve those functions while still having these skills. So I'm going to show you how to do it, but I'm going to recommend that after this event, you think about how you want to apply this and don't hold back. Make a decision of where you want to use it. The way that I built this was there's probably about 10 understandings that I have to be able to do what I do. Now that sounds like it's like unrealistically low, doesn't it? Doesn't that sound unrealistically low that I could do what I'm doing just understanding about 10 things? Try me. We will do this together. You will see. Part of being a veteran teacher is that when you're new, you don't know very much. Then as you keep teaching, you learn hundreds of things, thousands of things, and you progress. That's maybe like year 1, you know almost nothing. Year 5, you know way too much, right? My seminars at year 5 would have been encyclopedic, and then there's this aspect, this aspect, this aspect, this aspect, this aspect, this aspect. I'd be showing you every little nuance of anything that you'd ever want to know. I mean, I'll give examples of it later if you want me to talk about it. Like, I had one of my first ever things I wrote was something called the 25 points. And I would literally give every little, like, bodily positioning to use and things to not do and so on and so forth. And you'd have to remember lists of stuff to do it perfect. Now, you catch me at year 8 or 9, and I'm like, here, do this little interactive exercise for 6 minutes. And you're going to automatically do that 25 points of things. And you're not going to have to think about it. It's just going to happen because we did one little tweak for 6 minutes. Now, that sounds crazy, but that's called being a veteran teacher, okay? It's usually around year 10 that the genius kicks in. Have you ever heard of George Leonard, the book called Mastery? It's usually at about 10,000 hours, about a decade deep. That's when genius starts to kick in, okay? You start getting into the 20-year range. You go into that, like, world-class legend range, right? I'm not an icon, but I can go down as a legend. Why can't I be an icon? Okay. Not just that. I can't be an icon because icon's in the mainstream, right? You can't be an icon because an icon is somebody like Mother Teresa, where the average person on the street knows who she is, not even really knowing the backstory or anything like that. That's someone who's iconic. I can't teach you to be iconic because that requires you to have mainstream exposure, okay? But I can teach you to be a living legend, okay? I can teach you how to make people cry when they see you on the street, pull out money, and just start handing you cash, okay? That happens to me every day. I can show you how to do that, okay? I can show you to be a legend within your niche, okay? I can show you how to be a living legend within your niche. I will show it to you, and if you make the decision, you will do it. I can show you how to date the people you want to date, and I'm talking sky's the limit. You can date not the specific person that you want to date, because that would be manipulation. I can't show you this one person how to date them. That's manipulation. But I can show you how to date the kind of person who you want to date for sure. I can show you how to make the kind of money you want to make. I can't guarantee you get a specific hire, but I can show you the pathways to make that kind of money, and I can show you how to have vicious unfair advantages over almost anybody else. And I will not just show you this, I will hardwire it into you. I will get you doing this so that by the time you leave, the muscles are beginning to get formed, okay? I will show you this. But going back to what I said about why I teach all the time, in the long term, you have to put it into practice. I can show you how to speak within a framework of sales and marketing, but if you just go back to speaking in your regular way, nothing's going to come of this. So you've got to take note of what it is that I'm going to show you, and then you have to proceed to put it into practice. Then if you put it into practice over and over and over, that is where you'll get to the point where people will freak out, okay? Now, by the way, the secret sauce of why you can become that living legend and have people freak out is a combination of a couple simple things. The first one is letting go of all the crap that's monopolizing your current mind space, okay, your current mental bandwidth. Your mental bandwidth is being completely over-monopolized. Do a quick audit of yourself about how much you think of all this nonsense, and what are you going to see? Your bandwidth is completely monopolized. Got it? We have to get rid of that. Most of you are not present to the moment very often. Only way you can get present to the moment is when you're skiing, listening to music, maybe playing a video game or something. You don't have the tools to get there on your own, which means that most of your life, you're thinking about biological drives. I'm hungry, I'm horny, I'm cold, I'm hot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're thinking about your ego. You're in complete ego defense, which you're like, okay, how do I look? Am I look cool? Do I not look cool? What does this person think of me? You realize this is all autopilot. This isn't even you. These are literally just biological functions that are running. You think that you're the one thinking it, you're not. And by the way, these thoughts are so fleeting because you're going to die someday. So even if you get into the perfect life situation, you're still going to die someday. So there's nothing there that could even continue beyond that. I mean, think about it. If 99% of your thoughts are just ego, biological drives, and then some random social conditioning that somebody put in your head, what would even continue after you're dead? I mean, the body's dead, so the biological drives are not continuing. The body's gone. Why would you care if you're hot or cold? The ego, as far as like, oh, do I look cool, do I not? Well, you're dead now. That doesn't matter. The social conditioning, which was other people's opinions, well, those opinions will continue on, but you as being a vessel for them, that doesn't matter. So if most of your mental bandwidth is consumed in ego, biological drive fulfillment, and just other people's opinions, what would even continue on after you're gone? Think about this for a minute. This is why I talk about having a rebirth, a second birth. Now that's a dramatic term. I get that. I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to make like a big hole here to like flush you out of with like water in a water slide. Although I may be onto something, so no promises there. But a future event perhaps. But I'm freaking out. Okay, so the main thing here being though, but I want to be a little bit theatrical or dramatic as far as thinking of it within a term of being reborn, because really one of the main emphasis here, it's not just giving you practical skills so that you can fulfill those biological drives even more, right? It's not just to make more people like you or to make you able to live in a better house or to make more money or so on and so forth. That's something that you should get anyway. That's something that we should be able to get, to honor your biology, to honor your ego as a part of you and get it to where the ego is getting what it needs, your biology is getting what it needs. I want to cover that kind of stuff that will move you in those directions. Practical stuff, day-to-day stuff. But at the same time, I also want to get it where there's something proactive that's being reborn in you. There's something that's being birthed into you, okay? So the kind of shift that you'll have, if you want to just say it in a practical terms, is that most of you right now are living from outside in, okay? You're getting external input, and you're being moved too much in reaction to that external input. It's like being, this kind of leaf in the wind blowing around. Something that I've expressed in other videos is that this genuinely terrifies me because I believe that people being asleep and not having something in them that is proactive leads towards, not to be dramatic, but mass murder is what I believe. I believe there's a huge amount of mass murder in the world, and I believe that most of that occurs because of a lack of proactivity in most people, okay? Because what most people call like, oh, that's a nice guy. To me, that nice guy who just like puts his eyebrows up, it's just like, yeah, like that. Like they're kind of just like going along with the crowd. They look really nice, but those same people that are basically kind of like what you call the sheep, and in fact, they're not sheep, they're human beings, but they can have those kind of attributes of they just go with the crowd. Those same people that look super nice, I don't trust them. Like, I don't trust those people. Like, people would look at you from yesterday, and they think that you're trustworthy. I don't trust you. I would be more likely to trust a criminal over you. You want to know why? Because you're easily pushed around. You just are. So when some bad leader comes into power, which in certain countries they do, and they're like, yeah, let's go get all this group, it's always people like that are like, okay, just following orders. That's what the boss said to do, and they go do it. So this is why I want to help you to change your life, but I also have a higher purpose here of creating leaders, of creating the kind of people that would put a stake in the sand and say, wait, that's not okay. We have to do the right thing here. Just because some higher person said to do this doesn't mean that I do it. Somebody who thinks for themselves, somebody who's able to audit situations. One of the things that you'll see me like flip out about a lot whenever I'm teaching is whenever my camera team doesn't take initiative, right? Say there's some really great moment and my camera team doesn't think to go get up and get the camera in. I'm like, you know why that bothers me? Because in my mind, I'm like, you're the person that would be part of the mass murder. That's what I'm thinking. The same thing that makes them not go get the video of like, say the guy's having a transformational moment and they don't think to put the camera up properly. That's the same thing that creates murder in my view. Because it's called derping. Derping is the main reason we have this massive threat. Most of our biggest problems in the world are from derping. The average person is stuck in such a paradigm that they're not even thinking about, like, they're literally just like, well, you know, there's these problems in the world, there's these problems in the world, there's these leaders that are doing horrific things. But hey, man, just following orders. I'm hungry. It's not cool to be contrarian. I'm just kind of hungry. You know, hope I can hook up tonight. Do I look cool? That person just trashed me. That's not cool. That's what they're thinking about. So they're easily manipulated, okay? So part of this work is like, yes, I want to show you how to 10x your income. Really, I do. And 10x, like when I'm saying 10x, I just don't want to like over exaggerate it. I can't guarantee anything, okay? You've got to go do it. I'll show you paths that I've seen to work. You've got to be the one to go do it. I want to show you how to be better socially. I want to show you how to have more fun socially, how to be happier, how to find your core strengths, how to look at your life and build a life of your own design. We're going to be covering all of that. That's all going to get covered. A lot of the pettiest little things that you want, I want to help you to get those. Okay, the most petty things you want, like ego gratification and people thinking you're cool and the kind of dating life that you want and money and like I want to get you all that, okay? I'm going to show you, because I enjoy that stuff. Anybody that says they don't enjoy that stuff, I think is being snooty. We're living beings in a human experience, right? So I want to show you the tools that I would use to get that. And I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to force this transformation because I've got to be like a personal trainer here. That said, though, the major theme of this weekend is waking up. It's about being reborn. What does that feel like to my subjective experience and to my friend's subjective experience? Most people, what they're doing is their emotions are up and down, up and down, up and down. They walk into a situation, they feel like they're in competition with people, they're trying to figure out how to, like, when to say the right thing, trying to avoid negative social feedback, they're kind of shy, they're trying to hear other opinions, they're trying to see what's cool, so on and so forth. And again, their emotions are up and down, up and down. There's also a lot of very dense thought patterns in the mind. It's very, very dense. And believe it or not, it's actually sucking the life out of them. It's actually aging them too quickly. That density of thought, it's running down their health. It's causing sickness. It's causing physical sickness. It's accelerating aging unnecessarily, and so on and so forth. It also means, here's the big one, they cannot unleash genius. That's another, okay? The first theme of this event is waking up. Say this with me. Waking up. The second theme is unleashing genius. Say this with me. Okay? Another one is proactivity. Okay? Another one is enjoyment of life. Say this with me. Okay? And a big one is authenticity of your experience. Okay? So I really believe that a lot of our consumer culture has robbed us of the authenticity of our human experience. There's many people who lived for millions of years before us that I believe had a far more authentic life experience than we do in the modern age. I'm not suggesting to scrap it. I'm not one of these, people that's like, I'm not like going to, go live on the farm or something. Well, it could be cool, but that's not my current game plan. I live in the Hollywood Hills, so clearly that's not the direction I'm taking. Okay, I do posh parties in the hills. I'm not living on a farm, even though maybe I'll do that when I'm older. But you see the point here, right, is that I want to show you how to have an authentic life. So we're going to be talking about your core strengths, how to maximize income opportunities, how to do marketing, how to be effective as a salesman, how to be an ambassador for your brand, how to be somebody who can be viewed as a living legend within your niche. All that, we'll be covering that. I'll be showing you all the same communication tools that I would do in dating, how to talk and talk forever, how to talk in a way that's high status so that people, men and women, all people are attracted to you, to make people want to network with you. I'll show you how to create systems and structures to bring people into your life, basically through a funnel to where all the best people are coming through your life, and then show you how to zap into core strengths so that you're focused on them, and then how to find people that can collaborate with you on those core strengths and make more money. I'll show you exact tools to release tension, to release trauma, how to get out of your own way, how to make it where your life is just in the flow and going forward and a more authentic experience all the while. That's very, very important. You're going to love that. It's just going to be a better life. But more important, I want to shift you so that your subjective experience is where you feel more present to the moment. You feel almost like an energy body inside yourself of when you'd be very happy, and you don't feel that you need as much. You don't need as much. Right now, you need too much, okay? And most of you have very hungry eyes. That's the problem there. You have very hungry eyes. Look at each other. You may not see it in yourself, but look around the room. You're seeing people that are scared. They're afraid of death. They're afraid of annihilation. They're afraid of how they stack up to other people. They're afraid that they're going to run out of energy. They feel scarcity, and they're just thinking how to get what they need. How do I just get fulfilled? Then there's these certain highly charismatic people that look like they've got it all figured out. They look like they have what they need, and they look like the source of energy that are beaming it out to other people. And you can see that right in their eyes. They're energetically and as far as core competencies on a completely different level. And that is what I'm looking to get you to here, okay, at this 4-day self-help event. I'm trying to get you to come here. Why do we work together? We work together to make these shifts. So that is what I want to see by the end of the 4th day, is these major, major shifts. I want you to have a practical game plan, not that you heard from me in some video that you've got to like try to memorize, but I want to do exercise-based and auditing-based so that you're really doing it. You're having the transformation, you're having the tools, and they're in your muscle memory. So that even if you're dumb, like you don't even need to understand what I'm going to teach you. You can be dumb. It doesn't matter. But I want you to. I'm going to give you tools actually to wake up parts of your intellect you don't even know you have. It's going to be, you know, that thing that I can do where I can always just come up with stuff. Do you guys understand the ability to which I can respond to marketing situations, business situations, product creation? Do you understand the speed at which I can create products? Do you understand how quickly I can look at the market, see where the market's going, determine it at the highest level, and just switch on and understand it and get it? For me, this is easy, very easy. And yet, for most people, it's like a mystery. They don't get it. Why is that? What is it? What, because I've had some kind of special superpower? No. These are functions in you, potentials in you that I want to wake up. You should be on that same level. There's nothing that I'm doing that you also can't do. You can do this. Just your brain is in a derp state. You're asleep right now. Even if you're awake, because I know some of you in this room are quite awake, you can be more awake. We can build it more, okay? I want to get it to where you're quick. You're mentally quick. Let me be real. Most people that I talk to, they've got hungry eyes, they're operating very slow, and they're derping. Their brain isn't aware of the what else moment. They're not tapped in. They don't know how to get to the next thing. They're completely monopolized. You know when you go talk to someone who you're intimidated by and all you're thinking, where's your bandwidth? Where is it? Oh, what do they think of me? What's the right thing to say? And then you shut down. You have nothing to say. Then you look at somebody who's so charismatic in front of attractive people. Their dating life is crazy. They seem to always have the right words on the tip of the tongue. They don't struggle with it. Is it because they're smarter than you? No. It's because the bandwidth isn't being monopolized by all the negative programming that you have in there now. And these hungry eyes that you have, and this low energy situation that you have where you run out of energy so quickly, you're not feeding off of energy. It's almost like I got to be like a chiropractor. I've got to get you realigned here, okay? So a lot of this is going to be realignment and waking up aspects. Because what I see in most people's eyes is hunger. There's a thirstiness. I also see them asleep in a half derp state. I see them not operating off their core potential. And a really big one is I see that you don't have systems. Part of the confidence that I have is from having built systems. There's systems in my life. I have social systems for my dating life. It's not just like, oh, I have self-love. It's that too. But it's also that I understand how to build a system. I understand how to build a system in business, in work. There's so many areas that if I was working in, I would be undervalued. But I understand what my core strengths are, how to create a system around that core strength so that people value me and chase me for my time and compensate me. Each and every one of you in this room has core strengths that you should be getting compensated at a high 6-figure or even into 7 or 8 figures a year income. But you don't know what your core strengths are. You don't know what to build on. And then what you're going to do is you just got to pay your rent. So now you're just going to take whatever's in front of you, and then you're going to get stuck in some job that you hate, and your main purpose in life is can't wait till Friday to get off from it. What a nightmare. I don't believe in that. You know, a big reason I want to teach dating was I feel that there's like someone for everybody. I feel that everyone should get to have the experience in dating where they get to date around a bit, see who they like, get to have some kind of wild, kinky experiences, and then eventually meet a great partner. That was why I taught dating. The thing that I love about being good at dating is you can meet someone who's a great fit for you. You ever dated someone that's just the wrong fit, but you do it anyway because you don't know a lot of it, you don't have a lot of other options, and you just don't want to be lonely? You don't want to have to be stuck every night just by yourself, so you just start dating someone who you shouldn't be dating, and it doesn't fit. Versus when you're dating someone who it's an easy fit, it's just like magic. Part of why I want to teach people how to approach people, how to meet new people, is so they can go meet those people. I feel that also both genders benefit, all genders benefit. Why is that? Because they're meeting people that are their right fit. I've never wanted to date somebody. I mean, I'm cool to have a fun, wild, kinky experience with anybody that wants to share that kind of energy with me. But as far as who I'm going to date in a longer term, I want to be with somebody who I offer value to. I want to be with somebody who thinks what I have to offer is cool. I don't want to have to change myself and adapt myself to someone who I'm not in order to please somebody else. Now, I don't want to be lazy either, don't get me wrong here, but I want to be that aligned, awake, present version of myself that I describe here and meet somebody who appreciates that. My biggest kink in dating is someone who appreciates me. That's what I like. I like it when they really desire me. It makes me feel good. That's my number one thing above anything, above all else. Even if a girl's way less physically attractive, if she just wants me so bad, That's the biggest thing that's a turn on for me. The kind of intimacy that you're going to have like that is hundreds of times better than maybe just someone who's very physically attractive and they're kind of just like letting you have access. And you're kind of just like, okay, you know, right? They're like, right? That's not as nearly as fun as somebody who's just dying to see you, in my view, okay? Well, likewise, I feel that way in work, right? How much better is it for me to be sitting here in a room of people where you guys are all coming up to me and you're like, I can't believe I'm meeting you. This is so cool. This is amazing. You're my hero, or things like that. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, why can't everybody live like this? You can. You can be the hero for the people who you're a leader for. You absolutely can. That's what I'm here to show you. I'm not here to show you why I'm the cool guy. I'm here to show you and take you through a process where you're the cool guy or girl. It's about you. This is your experience. So that's what I want to do for you here. We're going to go through a process where it's a combination of a few different things here, okay? First of all, it's showing you how to have what I'd almost call an interfacing system, okay? What is that? You can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't know how to market them and interface with other people to show them they're out there, you won't get compensated, right? So the first thing is I've got to show you how to communicate at the highest level, right? Some of the best guys can't get a date to save their lives, as an example. Why is that? Incredible guys can't get a date. Meanwhile, some like drugged out club promoter, I have a lot of friends club promoters, so I got to be careful here, but, you know, and they're awesome. But many of them are drugged out, and like whacked out, drugged out club promoter winds up having 1,000 times better dating life than some amazing person that's adding value to the world. Why is that? Because the club promoter has an interfacing system, right? Inherent in their job is they're meeting a lot of people. Well, I'm not saying become a club promoter. Do that if you want. It actually could be pretty fun, but that's not what I'm suggesting here. What I'm saying is you've got to have some kind of system to interface with people. If you don't have your communication down, you can build all the skills in the world, but you can't interface with people. So we've got to get that down. Likewise, we've got to get down your core motivations. We've got to figure out what's driving you and make it where it's like a magnet that's pulling you along. I don't want you to have to feel tired all the time and feel like it's always this uphill battle. I want you to feel like you're running downhill, right? Look, if somebody's running down a hill, they're always going to be running faster than someone running up a hill, right? So we've got to move it so it's not so painful for you and you're running downhill. That means you've got to get to your core strengths. From that understanding of your psychology, you're going to understand the psyche a lot deeper. That's going to teach you empathy. Now imagine you combine those things. You're a very powerful communicator and marketer. You understand what your core strengths are. You have incredible empathy and ability to market that or meet new people. You create systems around that. You're waking up and moving up in your spirit and internally so that you can enjoy it more and so that you can actually, well, the big one from this is that you can be proactive is really what it is. Because if you're in reaction, like if we don't wake you up, here's the problem. If I don't wake you up, here's the problem. All that we're going to be doing is just feeding the biological drives and feeding the ego. There's no you that's being fed. We're just showing you how to get a better version of I'm hot, I'm cold. And I know a lot of you are like, that's just kind of what I want. Yeah, that's because you're asleep though. You don't even have a context for what else you'd want. So you're like, yeah, like just like sex and money and food and a better house. Sounds great, right? Yeah, let's get that. But let's make it like, you know what's funny? What's that old expression, right? Like to solve the problem, or to fix a problem, you don't solve it at the paradigm at which it was created. I don't want to just create a better external life. Let's do that, but let's make that as a manifestation of something that's happening inside of you so that it's aligned. Let's make it to where you have that stuff, but you could also be just as happy not to have it. And what that means is that there's something in you where you don't need it. You're not hungry. And what that means is that you're acting from proactivity. Say the word act from proactivity. Okay, you're acting from a proactive space. Acting from a proactive space, what that means is that you're not making decisions that were conditioned into you. You're not like, oh, I saw that in a magazine. I think that that's what's cool, so I'm going to live up to that. Because if you do that, you're a puppet. Okay, say don't be a puppet. Okay, if you're just getting something put into you from an outside source, in effect, you're just a puppet. You will literally burn your life out playing out somebody else's script. So we've got to get it to where, rather than you being in this kind of derp state of your bandwidth's all monopolized and heavy, very dense thought patterns, fulfill biological drives in this desperate way, scarcity, which by the way is messing up your, it's making it, it's like a knot in your back or something that needs to be massaged out, because what's happening is when you're in that mode, you're not in your genius. So the irony is that this desperate hunger that you have, these hungry eyes, ironically is the exact thing stopping you from getting what you want. That's the irony, right? If you didn't need this stuff, you'd have the bandwidth to go get it. If you didn't need it, you'd have the bandwidth to go get it. Then people say, well, why would I even do it at that point? First of all, that's your lower self that doesn't want to die. Talking right there. But second of all, think about it. Many of you guys in this room would love to meet a more attractive partner, right? You would kill to do it. Think of how great it would be to come home every night to some incredible person who you can have intimacy with every night and just like, oh, it's epic, right? Isn't it awesome? But then you meet that person. Does that super high level hunger you have move you towards that goal? No. It's that need that's the exact same thing that's stopping you from getting that. Because you can't even think of what to say. If you were just talking to like your niece, would you run out of things to say? You'd be joking around with her. You'd be having fun with her. You're not going to run out of things to say because you don't want anything from her. You wouldn't run out of things to say. But you meet someone you want something from, your bandwidth goes, it locks down, right? It completely locks down. That's why a major theme in this event is going to be control muscles versus release muscles. Control muscles versus release muscles. We want to get it to where when you meet someone, you go into release. And what happens is you actually think less. And then when you think less, the game slows down for you. Everything's going to slow down. To somebody looking at you, you will seem like the wittiest person in the world. It seems like you're thinking more quickly. But to you, you're in God mode. You're in slow-mo in that experience. So for you, like to the outside world, it's like, you ever see The Matrix where Neo's like, it looks like it's like bump, bump, bump like this, but then in his world, it's just like, he's just dodging the bullets like super slow. That's what we're talking about here. It will look superhuman to the outside world, but in your world, it's moving slow. I believe in your potential, and particularly your untapped potential. You have the potential to do this. I believe that most people before modern society live like this. You think that hunters weren't doing this? This would have been the most average, normal thing in the world. But yet in our society, it's like, really? Neo in the oh, wow. But to a normal person, that would have looked completely normal, okay? So what we want to do is we want to wake up a lot of potentials that you have, that you're unaware of that you have. We want to get you into your strength zone. We want to get you hardcore knowledge and skills. And we want to get it to where energetically inside, you're already feeling fulfilled. And because of that, you have way more bandwidth. And then you can apply that bandwidth into getting those things that you would have wanted now anyway. Except instead of wanting them and not getting them, the things you want, health, wealth, relationship, higher purpose, you actually get. So that dream life that you'd want, you actually have the capacity to build it, okay? And it's taken me decades to get on top of this to the point that I feel completely comfortable teaching it. I'm really right at the tail end of that kind of living hell that I had to go through of different experiments and things that I tried and really big mistakes that I've made. I mean, I've made huge mistakes for sure, even in the past 5 years, major mistakes that I'm embarrassed about. But going through those mistakes and having the knowledge firsthand, I can see where the pitfalls are on the road. So I can create a map for you and be like, okay, there's a pitfall here, a pitfall here, a pitfall here. And then I can show you exercises and understandings at a deep level. And because I've lived it and been through it, you're going to feel that authenticity coming from me. And it's going to make a big impact on you and leave a big impression on you, okay? So can you guys already feel some excitement building for this weekend? Yeah. Okay, could you guys give yourselves a hand right now? Because you got to get ready to start. Okay, we're going to go through this. Okay? And this is going to be a powerful experience we're going through together. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to take 5 minutes to just get up and meet some of the other people here. I know you've been doing it. Anyone that you haven't met yet, go shake hands with, meet each other, and just talk about your background or why you're here. Do it for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, because I want to create a group vibe here, okay? A lot of the networking and opportunities that you're going to do here is why we come live. So let's just start with that, and then we're going to crack into the exercises and start working on this. Take 5, 7 minutes.